Welcome to this week's Whole Week Costa. Before we start, I have two podcast announcements. Our beer table, Kev's just drinking because I've gotten real sick, so I don't want to add alcohol to the mix. And the second one is, will you stop?
I'm trying to do the thing where you make the boat sound.
You're an idiot.
I can't get to work.
Yeah. The second one is I bought actual real headphones as well as a microphone so we can have guests on and I can hear everything a little better. But they sent me all the wrong stuff.
Yeah. So it's just us still.
Yeah.
So no Carmen, no Cool Brittany,
no,
nothing.
no guy from work or anything.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
So you're just stuck with us. So
You want to start with the
Wah,
Olympics
wah.
today?
yeah. So I think I know about how much I liked the Olympics last time. I don't know if I pointed out the fact that I feel like the Olympics are like kind of meaningful because like you only get so many in life. Like, you know, if you think about it, I mean, if Olympics only happens every 4 years, each Olympics. I'm real shocked by the fact that JD is looking very intently at the computer screen.
Yeah. Don't
Measure-
worry. Just keep going. I'm
Measuring her
listening.
levels.
I can literally listen without looking at
Yeah,
you.
I can't do that. So.
Keep talking.
So you only get like 20 of each Olympics in your lifetime. So it's like a pretty big deal. I always get like kind of sad when they extinguish the Olympic flame. I love the little speech they do before though. The head of the the president of the Olympic Committee, says, I call upon the youth of the world to reassemble 4 years from now in whatever city it's going to be next. I think it's pretty cool.
I almost never watch the Olympics.
They're awesome.
Yeah, I find it the coverage is too erratic, and it only focuses on certain events.
Yeah.
And I mean the Winter Olympics is a little different, but the Summer Olympics, America just dominates most things.
Yeah,
So it gets kind of boring. For
winning's
me.
never boring.
There's a lot of the events, like there's almost no competition. Like that's how it's all the differences are so minute,
Yeah,
but it's such a big difference. Like it's like 10% in a lead, even though it's a quarter of a second, it's still like 10% in a lead compared to every other athlete. It's like 2% more.
yeah. I mean, it's super tight tolerances for a lot of this stuff, but what sport never has the same winner all the time?
Who's that?
Baseball. It's no longer an Olympic sport.
Yeah.
Have I complained about this on this podcast?
Yep.
Yeah, so it still pisses me off. But anyway, so Norway dominated the medals. Had the most gold medals. It was tied with Germany for the most gold medals. Had the most medals in a single Olympics ever. They beat the US record from previous.
What, for winter?
Yeah. Well, for like any Olympics. The previous US record was 37. They got 39. The one Norwegian skier got her 15th medal. She won 5 medals this Olympics. I screenshot it though. It was a little thing about Norway. So essentially Norway has a no jerks rule on their team. So what they talked about was in this article was that the reason why Norway is so good at the Winter Olympics, they asked them for one word, and they were like snow. They were like, we live in snow all the time. So like when you ask us to ski, like that's pretty much how we walk. So like the skiing events were, so like if you look at like the medals that Norway won, about half of them are cross country skiing events.
I watched while at the gym, I was watching cross country skiing, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, what asshole would think about this as an event?
Everyone in Norway.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
We're gonna like they look like such assholes walking uphill on skis. Like it just looks stupid.
Well, that's
Like,
the thing. I mean,
you think you would put the skis on your back, and then when you get downhill, you just slouch them on.
But for the folks in Norway, this is how they get around. So like for them to win the cross country skiing events is like nothing. But essentially what they talked about was that so they have like youth sports is like really pressed in Norway, So they said 93% of kids play sports in Norway. And what they do is they take the club sports very seriously. So like when kids are playing club sports, like people watch out and like take notice like who's really good. And then if you're a really good like athlete as a kid, like somebody will be like, hey, why don't you come like to the Olympic Training Center? And then they just bring them to like the Olympic Training Center, and then they become Olympic. Like essentially, they train to become Olympic athletes. So even though they're a small country, you know, for the amount of people in Norway, there's this huge talent pool of people they can draw from because everybody plays sports. So just by natural selection, they get these really good winter athletes. What they talked about was, so the Norwegian people or the Norwegian athletes don't get any prize money from their federation for winning medals. And they basically all have full-time jobs. They talk about how I don't know why this quote, but it kept popping up that they're plumbers, carpenters, teachers, etc. So like none of them are professional athletes. They're just apparently a very athletic country. So apparently instead of getting prize money, Norwegians that win medals are given commemorative gold-colored shoes and cake.
I do it for the cake.
Yeah, but the team's gold rush in Pyeongchang did create a slight problem for the officials, who ran out of the commemorative gold shoes to give to athletes because they won so many
I
medals.
won 39 pairs of shoes.
They didn't make enough shoes for all the people that won.
Hey, real quick, hand me that bottle of water behind you.
Yeah.
On the thing. Yeah. Did you hear about the lady? I think, and I'm probably gonna get it wrong. It was either Uruguay or Ukraine. Two totally different countries. She did the skiing for the half pipe.
Yeah.
She came in complete dead last,
Yeah.
but she only made it in because to be in the Olympics, you have to have a certain number of points from other events, like world events and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So she crowdfunded her way to all these events so she can compete and get all the points. And she came in dead last.
Yeah.
And she did no tricks.
Oh, that's fine. That's awesome. That's a cool story.
Yeah, yeah. Like people were mad because because every country allows a certain amount of people in.
Yeah.
And then every country, but there's only a certain pool of, I think it's like 32
Yeah.
allowed in each event.
Yeah.
And each country can only bring a certain amount of people into it,
Yeah.
so that every country gets a chance.
Mm.
And she's an American,
Yeah.
but because her grandmother is from that country,
Yeah.
she skied under that like national flag,
Yeah.
and people were like super pissed because she was not good whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like her only skill was not falling down.
I always wonder how some of those rules work because, like, you see these people that are clearly American, like that play for other countries. But with the Norwegian team though, so the other things were, so apparently at least 250 nights out of the year, the people on the same team in Norway hang out, and they have taco nights every Friday. That's another key to skiing well, apparently.
Wait, 250 nights a year?
Yeah.
That's like every night but weekends.
Yeah. So most of the time they like hang out and practice. Taco nights every Friday. And apparently they're like, one of the things is that they're not like flashy people at all. So that like what they talked about in one article too is that when they travel for international events, like basically no one gets their own room. They don't stay they stay in like the cheapest hotel just to like save money because apparently I forget the statistic, but it was like the UK's like bobsledding program spends more money than like all of Norway's entire Olympic program. Because they just do it for fun. They just do it because they want to. They don't do it to make money.
So they're just practical.
Yeah, yeah. And the one quote was something like, yeah, you know, when we go away, we all share hotel rooms. You know, sometimes you get twin beds. Sometimes it's one queen bed. Sometimes it's two guys sleeping in the same bed. It's not a big deal.
So they're the best amateurs in the world. They're some of the best amateurs in the world. And they don't care.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
They're
think-
basically just there to have fun.
I wish more people had. Was it the Team Norway where they were doing the skiing and then the people waiting were knitting?
I don't know. Probably
Did you see that at all?
they were that. I didn't see that.
I'm pretty sure it was Norway where they were so chill. the people that were like up next
Yeah.
were knitting.
Huh.
Like
Probably.
yeah,
I mean,
just
they're-
wait, they're knitting.
They were probably knitting their outfits for next year.
And did you see the American uniform
Which one?
for the one skiing? They had like jeans. It was pretty much they dressed like Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber. Like
Yeah.
giant gloves, and like the big the jeans and the big jacket. Like, with
That's usually what the
cowboy hat.
snowboarding outfits look like. I don't understand how they're aerodynamic at all. But that's like how they've always been.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Look up Team America ski team. They
Yeah.
look, I guess Google Dumb and Dumber too. It's,
Yeah.
it's hilarious.
The other fact was so Germany apparently. Germany came in second. Germany had 14 gold medals like Norway, and they came in second in overall medals. The U.S. came in fourth actually. But apparently the Germans, when they went there, they realized that if they were going to do Olympic competition, they probably couldn't be drunk the whole time. So a German brewery sent over 3,500 liters of non-alcoholic beer, so they could still drink beer the whole time, and that's all the German athletes drank in the village.
3,500 liters
Yeah,
Oh my God.
non-alcoholic beer just for the German team
for 2 weeks.
yeah.
That-
That's all they drank.
That's like 7,000 beers
Yeah. So 7,000 beers, like 100 German
for 2
guys.
weeks. Yeah.
So, and the other Norway story was that they apparently the one bit of money they spent accidentally was that the Norwegian chef had a translation error and accidentally ordered 15,000 eggs to make omelets for the house. So they got a whole truckload of eggs delivered.
15,000.
Didn't know what to do with them.
Oh,
Almost as many eggs as the Germans had beers.
yeah. It's ridiculous. That's a lot. I guess they ate eggs.
Apparently, it sounds like they were able to send some of them back.
They probably gave them away or sold them at discount.
Yes.
Yeah. We have these Olympic, like in America, if that happened, they'd be like, we have Olympic eggs, and they, and they would sell them for like $3 a dozen.
Oh, the Russian hockey team. So the Russia Germany game was like pretty crazy. So I thought it was cool. So Russia and Germany were in the gold medal for hockey. Partially because the NHL apparently are assholes and didn't let the athletes go over like they did the last Olympics.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because
the Olympic Committee doesn't want professionals.
They don't, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it was the last Olympics or it was 2 Winter Olympics. It was probably the last one. It was like I think it was 2 ago, but it was. I remember the gold medal U.S. Canada game was one of the best hockey games I've ever seen in my entire life. Like it was amazing.
I watched the women's U.S. Canada.
I just saw highlights of that.
Yeah, no, I watched it. It was like really good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. But I remember it was Ryan Miller was the goalie, the Sabres goalie at the time, and it was one of the best goaltending performances I've ever seen. And I just remember it went to overtime, and after the third period when he just took his helmet off and he was like dripping on the ice wet, like that's how much effort he put into that game, and it was awesome. And then fucking Sidney Crosby got the game-winning goal for Canada. It was like the worst way for that game to end, and then he was a dick in the interviews afterwards, like he always is. Oh, they put up more fight than we thought.
No one likes him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one in NHL. No one's ever liked them.
Yeah.
I watched America. I forget who it was. I think it was America, Canada, or America, France. No, I don't think it was France. But I think I watched the curling.
Yeah.
And at the gym, like even though I'm not a huge Olympics fan.
Yeah.
Well, Winter Olympics, Summer Olympics, I'll watch a little more.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's too erratic. Like the you can never tell what you're watching. From time to time.
Yeah, at least they make it all available now. Like it takes effort, but you could watch whatever you want. You have to seek it out a little bit. But
what's it called? I watched the curling.
Yeah.
And they got into it.
John Schuster.
They got into it. They were like, "Oh no!" And people were screaming. Like the
Yeah.
whole
Curling's
stadium.
awesome.
Yeah, the whole stadium was filled.
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow, that's amazing
Yeah.
to watch a piece of granite go down ice."
Yeah. So did you know where the granite comes from?
Is it Scotland?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
I
the only
guess.
place in the world it can come from.
Yeah.
But no, I think curling's pretty awesome. So I've hated John Schuster for years. He is on the U.S. team now, but for like years, his team always came up big, like in the national championships and stuff, and would make it to be the U.S. Olympic team. You know, because like with the curling, like it's a it's a competition to get into it. So it's not like it's like the 4 best curlers. It's like the best team. So like whoever wins, then goes on to the Olympics. And he's choked in the Olympics like every fucking year when he was a skip for his team. And then this year he's not. A different guy is. He's just one of the guys. And it looked like they were going to choke again though. They lost like their first 3 games, and then they were pretty much out of it. And then they were just like, well, fuck it, we're just going to do whatever. And then they won every game after that. So I don't know, but I hated John Schuster for years. I saw him curl in person before,
Where?
at the Aston Ice Works. That's a big curling arena.
Did you like go out of your way to do it?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It was the U.S. National Championships. So team Pottinger I think won the women's that year.
like
and
Pottinger, like podcaster.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Schuster's team actually lost that year, but it wasn't an Olympic year. I forget the guy that won, but yes, I've seen him curl in person. He's lost a little weight. He was a real chubby guy before.
Is it like as slow as it seems like on TV?
Yeah, I mean it's like the same pace as like baseball. Like it's like slow, and then like the tension sort of builds as the end goes on, and then big things can happen. You know.
What How many rounds do you play to win?
So
Because each round you win 1 point, right?
well, no, it depends. So there's 10. One side starts with the hammer, so that's the last rock for the end.
Right.
And the idea is, sort of like a base end. What would happen is, and it's been like a while since because I like played a few times, like just to learn how to do it. I've never like really played, but so I don't remember any of the strategy stuff. But essentially, the way it works is, so whichever team starts with a hammer, the expectation is that you're going to get 1 point, with the idea being that like if you just trade each rock, then at the end, then you have the last one, so then you throw it in and you can get a point. So that's like whatever. That's just like sort of a wash. The goal when you have the hammer is to get more than 1 point. So the strategy is like sort of set up guards in front and protect the house. So then you can try to slide a couple rocks in the back and then like slide one at the end. So you have like 2 or 3 that are closer to the middle than any of the opponents. And then, so the goal is to get more than 1 point always, or even to steal it if the other side, has the hammer, and then whoever gets points, the other side gets the hammer the next. So there's some strategy involved. Like say it's like late in the game and it's like a tight game and you have the hammer, you might actually not want to score. You might want to just essentially just knock off the other team's rocks the whole time to like have a clean end where like nobody scores.
So what's the hammer?
Well, that's like the last rock.
Oh.
Yeah. So you get towards the end, like you might want to make it so that you don't score, so that no one scores, because then it doesn't change. Then you still have the last rock, for the next end. So you essentially want to get to like the last end, like with the hammer or the lead, so that you can win. So like a big, it's like a big curling play is like a team like loads up the house and somebody misplays, and then I feel like every U.S. women's game I watched, they gave up like 4 points in the first end, like some ridiculous like number, and that's how actually the U.S. men like started off their like winning streak, is they were like losing and then they had this huge like 4 point end or something, and they just ran from there and like the rest of their games. But there's like there's actually a ton of strategy with it, and it's like such. such like exact like when they actually take the shots that it can be like pretty tense if it's like late in the game. But I feel like I feel like people really started watching because of the curling women, because like it was like 2 Olympics ago curling like started to get big here, or like they would broadcast it all the time, and they had it was the wasn't the Swiss team, it might have been the Norwegian team, I forget. Oh, Denmark. It was these two sisters on the Denmark team that had like huge boobs, and like when you watch women's curling, like you notice like they take very specific camera angles. They have like a low camera angle, so like it's always like they go down in the crouch and they go forward, and they basically focus on the girls' boobs, like all that, like that's what the women's curling is. Or they pan around the other side if they have like nice ass and they show their ass as they're sliding down, and like it's pretty explicit like in women's curling, and I'm pretty sure that's what started it. And that same year, all the big women's curlers actually released a nude calendar to like promote like women's curling. So they really like promoted like the sex appeal of it.
They did a volleyball one too,
Oh really?
but they're already mostly naked anyway. So.
Well, that's the thing. I think volleyball is already associated with like a like sexy sport, but like curling really wasn't. So then it's like sort of that sexy librarian appeal. Like that's sort of what like the curling girls have, and that's I think what they really play up. Because it was 2 Olympics ago. It was it was like a broadcaster from one of the California stations, and he did curling after dark, and they'd show it from like 2 to 6 in the morning, and it was like all the curling matches from the previous day.
Well, there was a couple of years ago. I remember there was a softball sexy calendar that went out.
Yeah, softball girls are real big though. Some guy goes, this is almost as bad as that time the women put out the shit. Now I lost it. Where's the shit? Where's the football that the other football game? The like lingerie football or whatever.
No. The other with the bigger football, and they don't wear pads.
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking
Rugby?
about? Rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some broadcasters like, oh, this is almost as bad as the women's rugby calendar, and the other guy's like, what do you mean by that? It's like, no one wants to see that.
I was gonna find a picture. So like the South Korean curling skip was like one of like the sweethearts of the Olympics. It wasn't like I think people found her attractive. She wasn't like real like sexy attractive, but she's like the nerdy librarian. Like here's a picture of her. But she was like shown in a lot of the stuff.
Oh yeah, I can see how that like sexy librarian. Those glasses are.
Yeah, she's big,
super library glasses.
Yeah, she's like really cute. She has like big round glasses.
Yeah.
But that's like the curling appeal, and she's like covered up. But if you just search for women's curling, I'm sure it's like all pictures of like. Here's more. Yeah, I mean she doesn't really have big boobs, but that's more like the angle that like they always show. Just like super bent over, shirt falling down.
Yeah, but they do that. That's same the first picture here.
Yeah,
that's what they do with guys. Like you can see it right here.
Yeah,
I think you're just getting into the sex appeal because the camera angle seems like it's the same.
I mean, it's there's definitely a purpose for that camera angle. But yeah,
I think it's just to fit everything in.
I mean, you could probably argue that, but I don't know.
There's no probably. I'm arguing it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's type in men's curling and see if we get the same camera angle.
Probably.
Men's curling. No, it's definitely more like off to the side and stuff. And
let me see.
It's a little bit different.
Nah, I think it's just in your head. It's just in your head.
I don't know. I think if you watch the 2 a.m. curling after dark, and the guy with the like real porno voice that like announced it, I don't know. I feel like
not going to.
I feel like you would understand what I was talking about.
I'm not gonna watch it, so don't worry.
Yeah. Well, it's over now. It was like 8 years ago.
Yeah, you're in no danger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So curling. There's the Germany-Russia game. The gold medal hockey game. I thought it was awesome because I thought it showed how far the German league has come. Because right now you have the NHL, and then you have the KHL in Russia, and then like I don't know, like whoever after that, and like the German league's been around for a while, and the German team actually didn't even make qualify for the Olympics 4 years ago, and they were like pretty surprising.
You ever? Is it just me, or all the bad stuff that happens in the world, and then people go, "Whew, Germany!" Like they still have that stigma for World War II.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it was kind of a big deal. But yeah, I don't know. I remember watching some of the German hockey games. Their league is the DEL. I forget what that stands for. The Deutsche Ice Hockey League, but their ice is starts with an E.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember watching some games because during the NHL lockout, Danny Briere and Claude Giroux both signed with the Berlin Ice Bears, the Ice Baron,
Yeah.
as it were. So, so I ended up watching a few of their games, and it was pretty cool because like, even though it's a different language, like the cadence, I guess, is like similar enough, and like watching and like what you'd expect to hear. So like you you couldn't really understand what they were saying, but like you got like the feeling of it, I guess, was what it felt like even listening to the German announcer.
Yeah. What's it called? A couple years ago, Dominican guy at work asked me. He goes, "Hey, why is Germany?" He's looking at labels. Why is Germany DE for the country?
Yeah.
And I go, "Oh, Deutschland."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What are they? What is it in Spanish?" He's like, "Germany." And so basically, like most of the world calls them Germany, and they're like Deutschland. And you're like, "God damn it!"
Yeah. They basically call themselves Dutch, and the Dutch are from the Netherlands, and I think they call themselves something different. I think are they like Netherlanders is what they call themselves?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
I think so. I think I heard that but like how they would say it. But yeah. So in the gold medal game, it was tight the whole game. 10 minutes left. Russia scores. So it's like, oh well, that's over. They're not going to score again. Germany scores 10 seconds later, and then they score again to take the lead. So now it's 3-2. 2 minutes left. Russia gets a penalty. So now it's like, oh, well, the game's over. They have the whole rest of the game. They're on a power play, and then they give up a fucking goal, and then they lose in overtime. Somehow shorthanded, they give up a goal. But the best part about it all was, how Russia was banned from the Olympics, and it was the Olympic athletes from Russia. So Team Russia's standing there, and they can't show the Russian flag, so they show the Olympic flag, and they start playing the Olympic national anthem. And all of Team Russia loudly breaks out in the Russian national anthem illegally.
This year?
Yeah.
What? So they were banned, but they still played?
Yeah. So because of the doping scandal, Russia could not have a team, but they didn't want to punish the athletes that were clean. So they let them compete as Olympic athletes from Russia.
Oh, okay.
But their medals will not count towards the Russian medal count for all time.
Because I noticed that the Russian were playing.
Yeah.
So I didn't look into it.
Yeah. So any medals they won counted for the individual person, but they didn't count for Russia. They weren't allowed to wear Russian colors. Like they had to wear just the Olympic rings. When they won, they just showed the Olympic flag and they played the Olympic anthem.
Yeah. Other than the like this is a really like rare example of when an actual country can't get they're banned. But imagine how good, and it happens every Olympics. Imagine how good those couple of Olympians that represent countries that aren't represented. Like last Summer Olympics, there was an Olympic. They didn't make the American.
It was like a refugee team, basically.
Yeah, they didn't make the American. There was a guy and girl, or a couple girls. They didn't make the American team, but they made the Olympics on their own. And like, how good do you have to be to make the Olympics on your own?
Yeah,
like as an independent from America, or an independent from Georgia, or an independent. They have all these like different independent, and they don't walk with their country.
Yeah, I remember
They
that team.
just-
They
yeah.
just they just wore the Olympic rings.
Right, and that's like, you're qualified to be in Olympics, and you have enough balls and determination to just go do it anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the whole Russian doping scandal was, they had apparently Soviet spies broke into the Olympic labs and like changed out people's urine samples and stuff. Like they found evidence of that.
Wait, in
So-
2018?
Yeah, like over the last couple of years, yeah. Yeah, like Olympic espionage people broke into Olympic labs and stole pee samples that were contaminated and left their own pee behind, I guess. But even with Russia banned for doping, a couple of the Olympic athletes from Russia still use performance enhancing drugs.
The guy who won gold for curling.
Yeah.
He got it like taken away.
Huh. Yeah, but he so although the best argument was, and I forget what sport it was one of the female Olympic athletes from Russia who was caught, and essentially the Russian Olympic Committee tried to argue that she just used a little bit of steroids. Like they only found trace amounts in her urine, so they're like, it was probably like contaminated. Like she probably put like good supplements like in an old bottle that she used to use for her steroids, and they got mixed in. Like that was literally their argument. Like, yeah, she totally used to dope, and she probably just got like it mixed up, and like got a little bit of her old dope into like her new stuff.
But why? Why do you have to why do you have to do that?
I don't know, but apparently, but Russia apparently did it as a country. They like so much that they were banned from the Olympics.
But it's Russia. They should have the same excuse from Norway. Like Russia and Norway should be up there.
Yeah.
It's snow.
Yeah.
Name a country who's invaded Russia successfully in the winter.
Yeah, never. But although Russia did lose to Japan one time.
Which is embarrassing.
Yeah.
But Japan does have a lot of mountainous regions where it
Yeah.
snows.
Yeah. But they're just not as chill as the Norwegians. The Norwegians, they have their Taco Fridays, and they don't
Yeah.
tolerate jerks.
I think it's because they do take it too serious. They're
Yeah.
super tense.
Although, so I'm in love with the Olympic ice skater, Evgenia Medvedev. So awesome. So she's 18, so it's cool.
She's only half your age.
Yeah, she's like the old one out of the Olympic ice skating team. She's been the best in the world for years. Like
so Kelly's not going to listen to this.
Oh no, I told Kelly I'm following her Instagram now. Like anytime she came on, I'm like, it's Evgenia. We have to watch.
Everyone, shut up. Sam, go back to your mom's.
Yeah.
I've got 6 minutes of ice skating to watch.
But yeah, she's like the old lady though. She's like just turned 18. She's been the best in the world for a couple of years and like broke her ankle or something like pretty recently, and still like it was perfect like on the ice, and they were joking. I forget the scoring criteria were, but they were joking about like for the technical parts of the events. They're like, if you get like in the high 60s, that's pretty good. Like the 70s, like in the 70s is like medal contention, and in the 80s is like Russian. Like so. But yeah, she was like perfect. Like was close to, might have set the all-time score for the one event. And then this 15-year-old girl who she trains with, they have the same coach, then came out and reset the record. Like was better than her, and it was crazy how good they were.
She's probably lighter, so she'd get higher.
Yeah. But like I don't know, I feel like you watch ice skating, you watch like a pretty good ice skater, and I forget his first name, but Chen from the U.S. team, one of the men, like he can do awesome stuff. Like he's I think he was the guy that did like the first quad, like whatever. Like he like invented a new trick. Like that's how good he is. But like he falls. Like he's not perfect. Like he falls sometimes. Like these Russian girls are like perfect.
Oh, because they get beat if they fall.
I mean, probably. But like when you're watching them skate, like you don't even like I don't know if you ever watch ice skating, but if you're like watching like a U.S. or like somebody where you're kind of rooting for, like I know for me, I feel a little nervous the whole time because like every time they do a jump, I'm like, don't fall. But like you don't feel that way watching them. Like they're not going to fall. Like it's not going to happen. I don't know.
You're
It's
talking about
crazy.
60s, 70s, 80s. They're getting 110.
Yeah. But no, it's just crazy. It's just they're just perfect. Like I don't know the equivalent like in any other sport. Like there wasn't any other sport I watched like in this Olympics where you felt the same way. I don't know. It was just crazy.
Michael Phelps, there.
I mean, but he was just physically a freak.
Yeah.
Wasn't like he didn't really in the water just went faster than everybody. Like, he didn't do anything special. He just trained harder than everyone else and physically had like the perfect body for swimming.
Sean White.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But he's not perfect. He's not won gold medals. He's fallen before. I don't know, but I'll never forget. I think it was Shaun White's first Olympics. He's like an old guy now. He was like there with his kids and stuff. But yeah,
He's 31.
yeah. Now he's like real old and snowboarding now. But I remember like his like first Olympics. Oh, what happened? Are we still good?
No, my computer pops up. It's like, would you like to restart? I'm like,
No,
no,
absolutely not.
absolutely not.
So,
No.
But I remember like his I'll never forget like his like first Olympics. He it might have been a Japanese guy he was like in the running with, and he like in a second to last run like beat him like then the other guy went and he was last, so he already knew he had the gold medal, so he didn't have to do anything. So he went out and did like every crazy trick he could like think to do that like he didn't have to do, that was like risky to even try doing, and like did them all and like had this perfect like best run of all time run just because he was like just dicking around.
Ah, good for him.
So yeah, but he's awesome. That's actually why I hate I mean MSNBC is the worst network anyway, but they have this Morning Joe program with this guy Joe Scarborough
It's terrible.
who just looks like a douchebag. But so I never liked him, but I've hated him more. I was like flicking the channels like around that Olympics, so like I guess 8 years ago, and he like said something, called like basically all the snowboarders like stoners, like basically said that Shaun White was a stoner, just unsubstantiated, no proof of any of this, just talking out of his ass.
He passes his drug test.
Yeah, so this fucking like loser to just talking out of his ass about this guy that just won a gold medal for America. Fucking Jared Scarborough has never done anything in his life.
They pass other drug tests, but he's a stoner.
Yeah,
And so what in the off season is a stoner? Who's he harming?
yeah.
He's the pride of America.
And I don't even know that he's that. I mean, it was just this guy like literally just talking for no reason.
Oh, speaking of news, I don't know if you saw. What is wrong with these fucking pants?
Yeah.
There's a news. Have you when you're writing papers or whatever and you're trying to look at formats? Have you used Al at Purdue?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
like the MLA format shit.
Yeah. Well, they have this lady was on news, and this newscaster is awesome. He always argues with people. Always has like great things.
Yeah.
And she's like they're changing. Purdue is changing the hour Purdue where they're taking man out of stuff. She's
Huh.
dead serious. Like mankind,
Yeah.
man-made.
What are they gonna call it? Person kind?
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're taking the man pronouns out of stuff.
Huh.
And there's so many words with the letters MAN in it,
Yeah.
but it's like so the words it has nothing to do with man at all. It's just how it's spelled.
Yeah.
Like humanitarian.
Yeah.
And they want to take man out of there.
Or like people that spell woman differently without the A.
Yeah.
They spell it like with the Y.
Yeah, it's and the guy asked her, he's like, "So why are we doing that?" And she goes, "It's offensive to people." And he's like, "How's it offensive? It's just how things are done." And she's like, "Well, it's offensive to people." And he goes, "Well, if I feel that a certain professor's offensive to me because he pretty much said like because they're talking out of their ass, and I get a small group of people to agree with me, does that make me right?" And she get, yes. like he used the same logic she was using about man
Yeah.
about her, and like because she got a small group of people to go, yeah, that sounds good to me, and like yeah, we're offended, and now like the hour Purdue is changing that part of it, and he's like, okay, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like it's terrible.
Yeah. I don't know. Fucking people, man.
So
Yeah.
you can't say man anymore.
Yeah, nah. As obviously as everything you say about it, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
it, so you can't use the word humanitarian anymore.
Yeah. Hugh Personitarian.
Yeah. Even though it has nothing to do with men
Yeah.
themselves.
All these Hugh persons.
Yeah, Hugh persons. What is a Hugh person? People that like to help.
Yeah. Maybe Hugh people if there's more than one of them.
So
I don't know. Yeah, so that Black Panther.
oh
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I
Yeah.
don't know. So I came across an article that I started to read while I was eating my hoagie today, which I was pretty excited about. And I read like part of it and it was too long, so I sent it to JD in hopes he would read it so that he could tell me about it later. But he only also partially read it. But essentially the gist of it,
I read most of it while you're in the bathroom.
yeah. So the gist of it seemed to be that Marvel sort of plays around with the idea of like criticizing like America, like just the America sort of like that we like try to control the rest of the world, like we use our military to control the rest of the world. But they always back away from it. Like they always like sort of talk about that and like the abuse of power and like the importance of responsibility with power, and then like the end of every movie with like, well, but what are you gonna do? So and that's sort of how Black Panther was. They really tried to address the idea of like the responsibility of people in power, and then at the end they were like, nah, but it's fine, don't worry about it. So
Yeah, but the article talks about how they try to make it like the world's a bad place, so we have to isolate ourselves.
yeah.
But Wakanda, as powerful and as advanced as they were, still let slavery and colonialism happen. Like they didn't stop it. They didn't try to stop it. But then they complained about how bad the world is outside of Wakanda.
Well,
and they could have done it.
the thing I really didn't understand in the movie is that, like, I don't know, it just seemed to be mixing up like Wakandan ideals for like American ideals, like why would people from this isolated African country identify with other like black people? Like
it's different cultures.
yeah, like why would they be responsible for like a black guy in Oakland? Like how, but essentially like it's like essentially exactly what they addressed in the movie.
Yeah. Like do you think Obama wants to go back to living like they were in Wakanda?
Yeah, or like the other way, like I'm a white
No.
guy, like I'm a white guy in America. I don't expect America to support like white people in Russia, like just because we're both white. Like I didn't understand that. Like I could see one thing if there was like if they wrapped it up that like all black people were like some sort of diaspora from Wakanda, so that they were all like Wakandan people. But like I just don't understand why the people of Wakanda would care about like people all across the world just because they have the same skin color. Like that seems like a sort of really backwards message. And the point of it in the end was that, that sort of or the sort of like, I don't know, I guess Black Lives Matter, like anti other races movement that like the bad guy was trying to push, is negative, and like we should be trying to help each other, including our own people and including other people. So I guess the message was good in the end. Although I've seen people like I know on social media post like, and these are like, African American people posting like quotes from like the bad guy and being like right on, but like that wasn't the point. He was the bad guy. Like I don't know. Like
Well,
I don't know. I guess maybe just as a white person I didn't know how to interpret the whole movie, but like some of it didn't make any sense to me.
Rotten Tomatoes said that it is the greatest movie of all time.
It was an awesome movie.
It was a good movie. It's an okay movie, like comparably to The Godfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like top 20 movies of all time.
Well, I thought it was just at baseline, without any political stuff. It was an awesome movie.
It was an entertaining movie.
Yeah, I thought
There-
they did a great job as far as to make an organically black movie to like not it's not Tyler Perry, it's not pandering to anyone. It's just this was the next
They
event.
took
This was the next Marvel movie.
yeah, and they did a lot of research. They took a lot of cultures from African cultures. They used a real language. They made it a real like you know, heritage piece. Like it was great. It was a great movie.
Yeah.
Greatest movie of all time? No.
Well, I think if you fit in the only way you could argue that is if you fit in the political context. Like if you say like, well, this is an important time where there's all this racial conflict, and they released this movie that was celebrating black people and black culture, but at the same time it wasn't saying that but at the same time the message in the end was peace, was to be supportive of each other. So if you put it sort of in the context of the time, it's The Godfather an awesome movie, but like what did this movie about a gangster have to do with like life in America or the world at the time?
A lot. It's it's the same thing. It shows the movement of immigrants to America.
It's just like a bunch of Dagos like killing people. Like,
no,
right? That's the movie.
They do that. No, it's just like talk about like for a movie to be greatest on time, like it has to be out for a while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It has to have rewatch value. Like it's like just use The Godfather I'll say The Godfather 2 cuz I like that better. But like The Godfather or even like Terminator 2. Like it's it's going to happen, but you sit down like you're going to watch it. Any Marvel movie that I've watched so far, like right now, I watch them. I'm like, nah, I don't need to watch them. And I just turn them off because, like, after you see them a couple times, you're kind of tired of them.
I don't think there was much rewatch.
So I mean, like, if you watch Black Panther a few times, you're gonna go, all right, I'm done with this. But and like most people, if you put on The Godfather, like most people are gonna like, let's watch it, or Scarface, or Terminator 2, or stuff like that. Those are some of the great movies. And then there's the older movies, like the Golden Age. They still play those movies in theaters.
Yeah.
Like 20 years from now, they're not going to be playing Black Panther in theaters.
They need to re-release Ghostbusters some theater because I would take because no matter what, even if it's not a Sam down, I'm getting them when we're going to it.
Right.
So
yeah, it's like Ghostbusters. You can watch all the time.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
I don't think Black Panther is going to be a classic.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of good parts in it, but classic.
Yeah,
no.
I think it's a really good movie. I think it's an important movie, just politically. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm just trying to devil's advocate say like why they could say that.
Yeah, but I mean, then two problems about it is that A, it's just an action movie. B, it's shoehorned into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Like if it was a movie with no comic book origin whatsoever, it would be more powerful.
See, I disagree. I think it's awesome that it's. See, I didn't really feel it's shoehorned in. I mean, I guess any of them you could consider shoehorned in.
Right. Yeah. I'm just saying, like it's part of that.
Yeah.
It's part of that. But if it's an independent film, with no tie, like if it wasn't a comic book movie, and you had this powerful of a movie, it would, and if it could stand alone, without anything else,
See, I disagree because I think part of the Avengers is that like everyone has someone that like they identify with, and I think that's so I'm like a white male who's like sort of does things the right way usually. And like I've been
no, you don't.
Well, I mean, except for like one thing, but
you laze your way through most things.
Yeah, well, but I like to think that I do things the right way, and like I'm someone who's been like at various points in my life like in like an authority figure, you would say. So I've always liked Captain America, and I feel like there's somebody like in the Avengers like for everybody where like you identify with that person. So now this was for I'm sure a lot of black people like I'm sure they identify with some of the existing Avengers, but for certain people they're gonna identify with the Black Panther, and it's cool just to have like another character. I'm sure there's some like jerks with small penises that identify with that with like Ant-Man. Like there's somebody for everybody in the Avengers, and that's what I don't know. That's what's cool about it. So to have just another component put in there is I think awesome.
So you didn't actually disagree with me.
What?
You just gave another opinion about the movie.
Yeah.
I disagree would be complete opposite of what I said.
Yeah, exactly.
What I said was,
Yeah.
I think this would be a more powerful movie if it was a standalone movie, not comic book. With that, and you're like, I think it's good I think it's good in that universe because everybody. Yep, that's another point. That's not a disagree.
Yeah, I disagree. But I don't know. No, but I think part of it was I guess where I do disagree is what I said before about the fact that I think that I like the fact that the movie happened very organically.